Good morning, crafting friends. This is Cheryl Ann with another video for you this morning. In this video, I want to talk about taking just plain white copy paper and what are some things you can do with it in your journals. So I was completely out of white copy paper. So a couple days ago, I ran up to our nearby Target and I got their letter printer paper, which is 400 sheets. It's 20 pound. 20 pound is pretty light. You can go 20, 32. I even had some that was 80. Once you get over 80, you're getting into cardstock. So this is just regular copy paper, 20 pound. And I saved my receipt, and the paper was $2.97 for the 400 sheets. And this will last me quite a while. So now you have your copy paper. So the next question is, well, what should I do with it? You can use it without coffee dyeing it. This is lightly coffee dyed paper, and you can see the difference. This is the plain copy paper. This is some with coffee dye. It does give it a nice color, and it also tends to kind of crinkle it up. Here's some that I coffee dyed, so you can hear it. So we'll go through some of the things you can do with your plain white copy paper. In one of my previous videos, I talked about how I take my paper and I lay it on an envelope. When I say envelope, I mean the kind of envelope with the bubble wrap. You see the bubble wrap? I would save these envelopes. And what I do is I'll take them outside and I'll just spray them with some of my Dylusion inks, or I'll make my own. That way the color is on the bubbles and it stays on till it pretty much dries out and disappears. Now, I do have a lot of the Dylusion sprays, but then I went online and I ordered these little bottles. You can get these at Walgreens and Walmart. Have these little spray bottles. I think they're 3 for 97 cents at Walmart. What I did with this green was I just put some green acrylic paint, you know, the kind that you get at Michael's in the huge bottles, and I added water. I think next time I would add distilled water, because this one kind of had a strange odor after 3 months. But you could put coffee in here and you could spray away, or you could do the acrylics. So either one. Look up Google do-it-yourself sprays for, you know, acrylic sprays, and you'll get some tips on that. This is some paper I made last night. Whoops, my bottle's underneath. Just spraying this onto the paper. This is heavy cardstock that I special ordered because I want it for the backings of some of my journaling cards. But you can see, you get a nice effect. And again, this is just the cheap little, 30-cent spray bottle just with acrylic paint and water. I'm not sure of the ratio. I think it might be 1-to-1 or 3-to-1. That's something you can Google and look up. And again, remember, you don't need fancy sprays. You can just put coffee in one of those little spray bottles and spray away. These are two that I did go outside. You know, we live in the desert, as I've stated before, and during the summers, you know, when it's 90 degrees outside, it's ideal for just laying papers on top of the bubble wrap envelopes. These are I just made a couple little belly bands for them. These are my coffee dyed papers. They have a nice tint to them. And again, I coffee dyed them and I just laid them on the envelopes, and they picked up some of the patterns of the bubbles. And I kind of like that because they're all different. This one I didn't put out. Okay. Now these are some of the papers that I dyed, and I used the McCormick Neon food coloring. They have purple, green, pink, and blue. And these I used the blue. And again, I laid them outside on top of the bubble wrap envelope because I have gobs of those. This one picked up a little green from the dye that I had, the spray I had on the envelope. Ooh, look at that one. Wow. Some of these are really pretty. Okay, so that was real simple. This one I just kind of flicked some of the water I had left in the container. I put them in a cookie sheet. You wanna be sure you cover the whole thing. If you don't cover the whole thing, you'll get kind of blotches. And then something else you can do, you can add. Now I can add a little doily. Yes, I sprayed it too. I've coffee dyed some music paper, so I can cut that in half and sew that on. Well, we're talking about sewing. This is one of the bags of lace from the Mattis Lace Company on eBay. They're not on Etsy. They're on eBay. And I'll put the link again below. This whole bag was $6, and it is just absolutely full of all different kinds of lace. There's lace in here, I normally wouldn't buy. So it's really good because I've got some fabrics that I've been using in there too. It's got makes me go outside my comfort zone. Another thing you can do to your plain white paper is you can add fabric. And I'll get to some examples, but these are the fabric bags that my local quilting shop has. And you can see this whole bag is $3. And again, this bag is just full of fabric samples. They just take the ends when the gals there are done. They just take the ends and they throw them in these bags and then they sell them. In fact, tomorrow they're having their annual parking lot sale at 8 a.m. And believe me, I'm going to be over there cash in hand to buy some more bags because I love to sew this onto the plain white paper or the coffee dyed paper. So here are some examples. I've been waking up at midnight, wide awake, and so I come here in my office and I just start sewing. These are just some examples of the fabric that I got in those bags that I've sewn on. Oops, don't need that. Here's some lace. And again, I wouldn't necessarily normally go out and buy this lace, but with the samples in the bags, I even took I have lots of books of maps, so I just sewed some on there. There's another one. Another one. There's another one. But I love the look of fabric on the papers. It just adds a whole different dimension, I think. There's some, so you get the idea. It doesn't have to be coffee dyed either. It's what you prefer. Something else you can do is you can sew on cards and envelopes onto your papers. I'm going to try to find a couple examples for you. Here's some examples of the cards. This one I sewed on like that so it can open up. This one again I sewed it on so you can open it up. This one, because of the size, I cut it in half and then I just sewed it on here. See, there's some of that lace. So this has the card and the lace. And here's another one with just the card. Another thing you can do, right now I save my seed packets. I've been running out front and sowing seeds like mad because we just did have some rain. But you can take these apart too, and you can sew these on your paper. So if you have any seed packets, save them and put them on your paper. Right now, I'm into making a couple mini journals. So this is the paper I used for that. And again, it has card and lace. Card that's going to be a little pocket. And just some little pockets, things like that. There's some more. There's one I did there. I have an outlet for the cards, so they're 50 cents each down at one of the thrift stores down in the valley. So I like to go there and see what they have. So that's, you can do this on your plain white paper too. Another thing you can do on your plain white paper or your coffee dyed paper is you can put stamps. I have a lot of stamps. I only buy them when they're 50% off or on sale or something. But that's another thing you can do. And they just add a totally different look to your paper. Here's another one. So like I said, buy them when you see them 50% or you have a coupon like at Michael's for, 60% off or something like that. Here's a little pocket I made out of music paper. And again, I dyed the paper and then I dyed the music paper. I have a lot of music paper. One of my thrift shops up in the mountains carries, they always have a lot of it, so I always buy whatever they have. I have my own music, but I don't want to cut up my own music. These are just some more stamps that I have, so I just thought I'd show you how they look on the coffee dyed paper. I love the look of coffee dyed paper. I know some people don't like it. If you don't, that's fine. Use your plain white copy paper. It's a beautiful weekend here. We're going to have highs in the 80s. So enjoy your weekend. Happy crafting, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Have a good weekend.